Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Iran's representative to the UN Maritime Agency has said that the Strait of Hormuz remains open to all shipping except vessels linked to Iran's enemies, after US President Donald Trump threatened to target Iranian power plants if the waterway was no fully open within 48 hours. Ali Mousavi said Tehran was ready to cooperate with the International Maritime Organisation to improve maritime safety and protect seafarers in the Gulf, adding that ships not linked to Iran's enemies could pass the strait by coordinating security and safety arrangements with Tehran. US President Donald Trump has threatened to obliterate Iran's power plants if Tehran does not fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours. Trump said on social media that if Iran doesn't fully open, without threat, the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, the US would hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Meanwhile, Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya military command headquarters said if the US attacks Iran's fuel and energy infrastructure, Iran would target all US energy, information technology, and desalination infrastructure in the region. British Cabinet Minister Steve Reid has said that there was no assessment that backed claims Iran is planning to strike Europe with ballistic missiles, or that it even has the capacity to do so. British Housing Secretary Reid told the BBC that he wasn't aware of any assessment at all that they are even trying to target Europe, let alone that they could if they tried. In a separate interview with Sky News, Reid said that US President Trump spoke for himself when he threatened to obliterate Iran's power plants if Tehran did not fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours. Iran has intensified its attacks on Israel, striking key southern cities and expanding the conflict beyond the Middle East with long-range missile launches, raising global security and energy concerns. Iran launched fresh ballistic missile attacks targeting southern Israeli cities, including Dimona and Arad, causing widespread destruction and mass casualties. More than 100 people were injured in the strikes, including children, after at least 2 missiles evaded Israeli air defense systems. In Dimona alone, at least 39 people were wounded, including a teenager seriously injured by shrapnel. In Arad, around 88 people were injured, with several in critical condition. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia has activated its air defences after ballistic missiles were launched toward the capital. Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Defence confirmed that 3 ballistic missiles were fired toward the Riyadh region early on Sunday. Air defence systems successfully intercepted 1 missile, while the remaining 2 fell in uninhabited areas, preventing casualties or major damage. Alongside the missile threat, Saudi forces also intercepted multiple aerial attacks overnight. In response to what it called blatant Iranian attacks, Saudi Arabia declared the Iranian embassy's military attaché, assistant attaché, and 3 other staff members persona non grata, ordering them to leave the country within 24 hours. The United States and Israel have struck Iran's Natanz uranium enrichment facility in an early morning attack. Authorities in Iran say there were no radioactive leaks and no risk to nearby residents. The UN nuclear watchdog, International Atomic Energy Agency, also confirmed that the site remains safe and that it is monitoring the situation after being informed of the attack. The site had been targeted earlier this month as part of ongoing military operations. US President Donald Trump said the United States is considering winding down its military operations in the Middle East while continuing efforts to neutralize Iran's missile capabilities. In a social media statement, Trump indicated that Washington's objective is to render Iran's missile systems and launchers completely inoperative and to dismantle its defense industrial base. The remarks came as US officials claim significant progress in degrading Iran's military infrastructure during the ongoing conflict. A devastating attack on a hospital in Sudan's Darfur region has killed at least 64 people, including children and healthcare workers, further deepening one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. According to the World Health Organization, the strike targeted Al Dain Teaching Hospital in East Darfur's capital on Friday night, leaving at least 64 people dead. Among the victims were 13 children, multiple patients, 2 female nurses, and 1 male doctor. 7 people have been killed in a helicopter crash in Qatar's territorial waters. The Qatari and Turkish defense ministries said the helicopter had crashed after suffering a technical malfunction, which the Qatari ministry said was during routine duty. They said 4 of those killed were Qatari Armed Forces personnel, 1 was from the Qatar-Turkey Joint Forces, and 2 were technicians. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.